think I'm around B2. What about you?
Hey guys, it's Bomi. Nice to meet you. For those of you who know me from my reaction channel, it's great to see you again. Finally, I have created an English study channel. I know there are many channels where native English speakers teach English, but I thought there are not many channels where I can share what I learned with others and experience studying English together while I'm also studying English. I've got many questions about how I learned to speak English and recommendations on how to study English. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to share them with you guys. I hope this channel will be a good place for you to learn something new together. I'm neither a native English speaker nor a specialist, so I still make a lot of mistakes and my pronunciation has an accent. Until a few years ago, I could barely speak English. However, I have been practicing my English by trial and error, and now I am able to speak English way better. And I'm even teaching children English through this experience. So I will share my study methods that I think will be useful to everyone. I would be happy if this channel can help as many people as possible to get rid of their sense of weakness in English and give them the courage to speak English. First, we are going to find out the answer to these questions. How can I learn to speak English? I don't know where to start. They are questions that I'm always asked by my students. The answer is, it depends on your current level of English and your goal. If you are a beginner and want to be like a native English speaker, it will take a very long time. However, if your goal is to be about as good as mine, it won't take much time, as long as you study in the right way. Therefore, if you don't have a clear idea of your English level and goals, you'll spend a lot of time studying inefficiently and lose motivation. So, if you know your level of English, you will clearly see what you need to do to advance to the next level. I myself started my English study without going abroad, even though I could not speak it at all until a few years ago. And the students I teach also started to speak English little by little. Then how can you know your English level? So I made a 6-minute long online English level check test that you can do right here today. If you wish to learn English but don't know your English level, then I think this video will help you. What does it mean when someone says, I am A2? I think I'm around B2. What about you? Many people use these terms without understanding what they mean. But don't worry, let me explain. CEFR, the Common European Framework of Reference. It's an index of proficiency in a foreign language that is used around the world, especially in Europe, to evaluate proficiency in a foreign language using the same standards. The CEFR is based on 6 levels of proficiency: A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2 in the 4 foreign language skills of reading, speaking, listening, and writing. Simply put, it starts at the A1, beginner level. Level B is the intermediate level, and finally C2, the native level. Many of my students wanted to be able to communicate well enough to travel abroad or understand movies with English subtitles. Then I could advise them to set their goals to reach the B1 level first. Let's look in a bit more detail. Let's start with A1, a beginner level. If you are listening to me now and understanding what I say, you are probably higher than A1. At this level, you can say basic greetings, introduce yourself, and ask basic questions. However, probably you need to ask people to speak slowly and to use simple words to understand. A2 is an elementary level, but once you have mastered this level, you will be able to speak about your daily life. You can talk more about your hobbies, work, and other things about yourself. However, many students and English language learners get stuck at this level and find it difficult to move on to B1. Now, let me tell you an interesting story. I have a friend who went to Australia to study English for 3 months. She had a good time during her stay and she improved her English skills enough to have a daily conversation. But she was shocked not to be able to speak like a native speaker as she had imagined. She didn't have a clear idea of her current level and goal, so she studied inefficiently and wasn't even satisfied with her progress that much. Because if you are aiming for B1, you will need to be an intermediate learner with basic but more advanced grammar and vocabulary. Once you reach B1, you can deal with most travel situations. You will be able to describe most of your surroundings and situations. You will also be able to research, write, read about your interests in English. At B2, upper intermediate, I would say it means you have succeeded in your language studies. At this level, you can read technical articles and converse with native speakers without much difficulty and understand each other. At the next level, C1, you will need more business and academic expertise than native speakers, and you will be able to understand conversations about more complex topics without having to think about grammar and vocabulary. Many international companies and universities require this level. At C2, native speakers may not be able to pass the test. You will have a better understanding of the nuances that you would use in your native language. This is probably not what most English learners are aiming for. Okay, it's time to find the answer to this question. What is my English level? Each step is getting harder. The first 10 questions are basic level. At this level, you may be able to answer all the questions correctly. The first 5 are A1 and the last 5 are A2. If you get more than 2 wrong out of 5 questions, you are probably at the level. As we go through the questions, you will see a small 10 seconds countdown timer which is going to show you how long you have to answer that question. Have a pen and notebook ready and write down the questions you get wrong. Are you ready? Let's get started! I like buying shoes. There is a lot of trains in my city. My room is on the 3rd floor. I'm not okay. I'm very angry with my boss. She doesn't like doing the laundry. We haven't much time. We don't have school on weekends. I often go to the cinema. The twins were born last night. How many beers did you have? Just a few. Now let's move on to the next 10 questions. We are going to step it up. The next set of questions is level B. It is intermediate level. As before, the first 5 questions are B1 and the second 5 are B2. If you get more than 2 questions wrong in each set, you are probably at the level. They'll get progressively more challenging. Nobody knows when he will come home from the party. I'm tired of listening to you. Sometimes we have to deal with difficult customers. You have to hand in the essay by Friday. I have to look after my brother's dog when he's away. It's not so hard to tell the difference between the twins. I don't have enough time to finish all the questions. If I were you, I would do that. Judging by his face, he must failed the exam. I can't let you in unless you give the password. Whoa, you've made it to the last section of this test. We are starting to focus on some common expressions and fixed phrases, so you'll need to have a really good understanding of English to confidently move through this next section. Now, if you're not super confident about your answer, if you just take a lucky guess and you happen to get it right, good for you, but still make sure you add a little star next to that question. And just decide if you really should count it as an accurate answer. You are doing this test for yourself. No one else needs to find out about how it was or if you got all of them right. Just be truthful to yourself, okay? People were amazed that the burglary took place in broad daylight. She invested a lot of time in researching the most appropriate university course. He turned out to be considerably older than I had imagined. Don't make a big deal out of missing the bus. Maybe a bit later, we're stuck in a traffic jam. Help yourself, they are free for the taking. The festival passed off peacefully in spite of the fears of the local. He sometimes stops if he owns the place. Friends stick together through thick and thin. His father would like him to follow in his footsteps. It is amazing that you made it to the end. Let's tally up your answers, and if you would like, let me know your results in the comments section below. If you didn't get the result you wanted, please don't worry about it. The results you get from a test are really helpful, but they don't define you are and what you are capable of doing in the future. So often the way that we think about our results or the way that we think about ourselves after we get those results actually stops us from improving and moving forward. It sometimes messes with our self-belief and our self-esteem to keep going. It sometimes convinces us to give up or reduce our ambitions. But you don't have to be a native speaker. Even an intermediate English speaker like me can become a lively and effective communicator. Even if they don't have their vocabulary range or the accuracy of their grammar, they can still use the language that they have to communicate clearly and to communicate well. I have learned English by trial and error. And now I teach my students the tips that I learned from my experience. I will continue to share my recommendations and inputs on learning English on this channel as clearly as possible. So if you don't want to miss these videos, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Thank you for stopping by Study with Pomi today. See you in the next video. Bye.